to oh. You know, it doesn't matter. Hey. Nice to see y'all today.
Ew.
I am the Rise of J. Jones. What's going on, party people? And this is
Charlie Rocket.
And we are the Dirty Closet Pals. And this is the Dirty Closet Podcast, where even if your closet is clean, it is positively filthy today.
Ew.
How are y'all doing? Come on, take a few moments with us. Just, it's like a fireside chat.
Take a breath.
You're with family, you're with friends, it's a vibe.
Inhale. Exhale.
Soak
it in.
This is me soaking it in.
Hey.
But also,
it's Aries season.
It is. It really
season.
is. And you know what? That's a big deal.
Yeah.
A huge, monumental deal.
And what have I been telling you? I've been telling you for the past couple weeks that Aries season means you got to feel your Aries energy. You got to really soak it in.
So, I go by the Rise of J. Jones or JJ, but right now it's Big J. Jones. Like till the end of the month, J Sauce the Boss, El Presidente, Lord Sensei. Do your job. Could be pay your rent day.
I know that's right. And that means your birthday is on Monday.
It is.
17th. Wow.
Yeah, your boy's getting old.
It's your Jesus year.
Oh, yeah. Guess what? I'm turning 33. You know what that means? As my older relatives would say, I'm getting long in the tooth. Been around too long. Not in the spring chicken anymore.
Right.
But that's okay. But, can I tell you how I was able to reclaim my youth thanks to no one other than
Could it be me? Rocket. Could it be me?
Who else could it be? Because
yours truly.
Let me set the stage for y'all. The year is 1990. I'm kidding. Moral of the story is I'm a huge basketball fan. Like, I love it. Like, not only do I watch it, I play it. Like, it's in me. Like, I'm laying up. If you are in my path and I can hit you with an in basketball. And out, cross tween, hezzy.
He brings up basketball every hour at least.
Yeah. Fair enough.
I feel like I know more about basketball than I ever have in my life. And
no need to say except you're welcome.
He's big on metaphors for everything, for relationship problems, for family issues, for like anything, metaphors. And most of the time it's basketball.
She's also
right. That's just like when you're the point guard and something. I don't know anything beyond that.
I love
but
it.
That's
the fact that she said point guard, I was like, stop talking dirty to me on this
I know.
podcast.
See, I know. But some words.
She does.
Tween hezzy.
Oh my God. We want to have to stop this podcast. But seriously, guess what this vision, this angel on earth decided to do? She took me to my first NBA game and mind blown. Not just any old NBA game. She took me to go see my favorite team. I got to see the Chicago Bulls play, the Hornets. And the Bulls won. So on top of that, just
I know how to seduce them.
Oh my goodness. Let me tell you something. If y'all want me to tell you the truth, I put out. I did. I sold. What was I supposed to do? And also the tickets was like floor seats. I had to give them up. You know how they have those memes where it'd be like, no, I'm not like that. Like, I just gave them up. I ain't gonna lie.
We had fun. It was a good weekend.
We had a good time though. It was a once in a lifetime experience. There was a certain moment where
it actually wasn't because we're doing this a lot more.
Oh yeah, no, it wasn't. It was the start of a bunch of moments. But I'll never forget. Just like they say, you never forget your first time. We walked up to the stadium and the curtains pulled back. The music's playing.
It was very much like a movie. Because
it was theatrical.
I've been to a few games myself, even though I don't like basketball.
Didn't like basketball. She's
didn't on it. Even though I didn't like basketball.
Thank you.
But I never saw like them open the curtains as I come up the escalator. Like
what was that? That felt perfectly
cinematic. Crafted. It was very extra.
I felt like I was in a movie.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie to you.
It was a good moment.
I got to see things happen in front
Aries
of me.
Season.
Oh, what a season! But I just need to take a moment and thank Charlie Rocket. She made it all possible. I had the time of my life. I got to see some heavy hitters do things that I only dreamed of. We got to see people get dunked on.
That's true. That was a different energy
when you're in the crowd.
Yeah,
because it's one thing for me to be in the room and see somebody get dunked on and be like, "Hey!" But like when 10,000 people do it.
You know what else I saw? I forgot about this part, but I also took several videos of the mascot, the Hornets mascot, because he scares me.
The shit out of you, didn't he?
First of all, I'm afraid of mascots in general. Just all of them. All of them. And I don't even know. No, I do know why. But that's the story for another time. Flashbacks. Oh no, that cougar. No,
all I can think of is now they're watching and they're like, what the fuck is she afraid of mascots? Going on what happened there?
Anyways, I'm not a fan of mascots. They're really creepy to me. I wish I liked them. They're almost cute. On TV, they seem fine. In person,
it's that real deal in your face.
Oh my gosh, the fear. But yeah, that's what I also remember about the game. Fearing for my life from that Hornet.
This is the first I'm hearing of this, y'all.
So I know. I didn't ruin his time. I
just
filmed it and then kept it silent. I was like, look at that.
To be fair, as much as I love NBA games, if I made it this far and I made it to my first one, if that Hornet came up there, do you think I would have not boom bapped him? And they're like, you need to leave. I'm like, this is my, like, so what?
I don't even think he's going to come to, I don't know what I think the mascot would do. Just the sight of them is scary. I don't know. I don't know what it is.
All I'm going to say is, wouldn't be the first Hornet I put down. Would not be the first Hornet I put down.
Hey. What else have we been up to?
We've been up to quite a bit. Not only have we been gaming, but speaking of gaming, we got to see the Mario movie. Ooh. Yes. So I'm going to say one thing, and then I'm going to go ahead and throw it over to you.
Yeah.
Banger.
Yeah.
Like 10 out of 10. And I'm going to let you say what you need to say, and then I'll fill in the gaps.
Yeah. I mean, what can you say? It was an amazing movie. The nostalgia was there. I mean, when we asked our kids, like, if they liked the Mario movie better than Sonic 2, which was their current favorite movie,
yeah.
They said the Mario movie, and they said because there was way more Easter eggs, and that's a fact. Like, Sonic touched on little Sonic things here and there to keep you in. Oh yeah, that's like the game. And granted, that was a live action kind of thing, but Mario, the whole ride. The entire ride.
All gas, what?
No brakes.
There we go.
I was looking at the screen like super hype. Also, I was a little concerned about the voices, but honestly, once I started watching it, the story was so good that like I didn't care. I didn't care about any of it. The only one complaint I did have is that Princess Peach did look different. Like everybody else looked like themselves, but Princess Peach, something wasn't right there.
I'm gonna be honest. She got that 2K23.
She had a tiny body and like a big old head.
She had a big head with a small face. But then her face
was so tiny. Like her nose and mouth was so tiny. I felt like it was like anti-black. That's how it felt.
I mean, look, hey, you
said they went tinier. Weird.
Princess Peach. She looked like she had some work done.
But also, she slayed, okay? That was the only small complaint I had. She slayed. The actress who did the voice for Princess Peach, I don't remember her name, but we call her Queen's Gambit. Love her. Love her.
No, she did her thing, and
she slayed.
To be completely
Princess
honest,
Peach, boom, bapped them.
Princess Peach is a stepper. Let me tell you something. Yeah. She stood on her business.
Come see about me.
She really did. Princess Peach said, "What's good with the smoke?" She wasn't running from nothing. She wasn't turning the fades down.
Top tier movie. Great movie.
At all. I appreciate that.
Yes,
I will say that the voices will throw you off at first because you're expecting the character that you want from the game. But I'm going to be completely honest. Chris Pratt and the rest of the cast did a really good job in the fact that they made those characters people. Like, they actually, the way that they did the voices, It made you think of more of a person going through a journey than just like, oh, Mario, this game character that I know, because they touched on things. I don't want to spoil any plot points for you, but they touched on things that almost anybody of our generation and our age can relate to. You know what I mean?
Like real life
like
stuff.
real shit. So I want to like congratulate them for taking something I love, putting a new lens on it, but respecting the source material. Like I 100%, like as a Mario fan, I don't feel like I was jilted.
No, not at all. And enough left for a sequel.
Oh yeah. To be fair, like we know they're gonna make this. They're gonna make this a trilogy.
Go on and give it to me. I'm gonna spend my money.
Exactly. You know that thing where they look. Come on, take my money.
Come on, Super Smash movie.
Let's
build it up.
Let's do it all.
Let's do it.
Let's make the cinematic universe. Why not?
I'm here for the ride.
Hey, buckle up. You ready?
Yes. Now, before
I'm sorry.
we get into today's topic, I also wanted to go ahead and do some convention announcements because we have a bunch of cons coming up, and I'm so excited.
Y'all gonna get to see us live in the flesh, real deal, just like 3D coming at you.
Because no one ever sees us, and we're hermits. Like, what?
There we are.
There we go. Good. But so convention announcements for May coming up next month. Mm-hmm. We have a couple of conventions. All of them are local. Yay! We don't do a lot of local conventions typically in a year.
We miss
and
it.
I miss it. I miss it so much, and I especially want to show JJ around North Carolina a little more, and show her.
Because I've dipped a toe, but I'm ready to dive. I'm ready to.
So come out and see us. The first one coming up is SableCon, that's nearby, and next after that we have Pancakes and Booze. That's an art show.
She's saying we. I'll be there.
I'm sorry.
To support the team, but the creative force behind that one is none other than Charlie Rocket herself. And she did her first one last year, and might I say she made a big splash. I mean, I'm excited to see what she brings this year, and I'm just, please. I'll be there. You'll see us both, but come support Charlie Rocket as an artist.
Yeah.
You've seen her as a cosplayer. Come see her creative eye. Come see what's kicking around in the old noggin.
Thank you.
Sorry, shameless plug.
Come buy my stuff.
Yes.
I'm amazing. No,
she is. I'll say it.
And then after the Pancakes and Booze art show, we also have Animazement. So those 3 events all happen within a 2-week span. Right at the end of May. So
you know what that means, you guys? We're white knuckling it till the finish line.
We are.
It doesn't matter. The JJ you see today is not going to be the JJ you see at the end of it all. But guess what? He'll still be a champion.
Yes, indeed. Real quick note about these cons. Animazement was my first convention I ever went to.
Wow.
And the first convention I ever saw in person, just walking by. So that's what introduced me to cosplay. So it has a special place in my heart. I'm super excited to be a panelist this year, and ready to have fun. But also, SableCon is actually a Black comic convention.
Ooh.
Yes.
Can you say that again for the melanated people in the back?
Comic convention. So I'm excited to see a Black comic convention in North Carolina.
Me too.
So please come out to that. This is the first year. You can find all the dates and all the information on my page. It's pinned to the top right now.
There you go. Charlie Rocket Cosplay on all pretty much major social media platforms.
Then right after that, in June, we start with Awesome Con in Maryland. And then, we'll keep you up to date with all the cons going from there.
Yeah, but I mean, you did a really good job of
getting
through our lineup.
And here's the news.
The news with Charlie Rocket Cosplay. You're like partly sunny with chance of...
I thought you said Bart Harley Jarvis.
If y'all know where Bart Harley Jarvis is from, and you see me at a con and you bring it up, you get a special prize from me. I'm not sure what that is yet. I'm gonna keep it on me. But that's a J. Jones guarantee. That's it.
It's not a threat.
No, it's not.
It's a gift.
It's a gift. The giving tree. Okay, but yeah, if y'all know where Bar Hartley Jarvis is from, we're gang right now. We're fam.
Yeah, we're probably friends.
We probably should hang out.
Moving on to visibility. Visibility.
Wow. Oh my God. Visibility.
Wow. Yeah, today's topic is visibility.
Welcome to our TED Talk.
Welcome.
Actually, no, because TED Talk doesn't sponsor us, but welcome to our talk.
Right. I like how my eyes are so low in the video because I keep looking at myself instead of at the camera. And I do it every time, but
I mean, if I look like you, I'd look at me too.
Wow. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Hey, it's just a fact.
Visibility. What does it mean to you? J. Jones?
Webster's Dictionary define. I don't know how they define it. But honestly, being visible, what does that mean? It means to be seen, to be understood, to be validated. To be visible means to also be represented. So for me, when I think about visibility in the terms of a relationship, it just means validity. It means that your point of view is respected, your thoughts and opinions are respected, your ideas are respected. And I say respected, not necessarily agreed upon, because don't get me wrong, in any relationship you have, whether it be a friendship or like a work relationship or your own personal relationship or with your kids, there's going to be disagreements because we're all humans who come from different backgrounds and just different schools of thinking.
Yeah, for sure.
So for me, visibility isn't just, oh, you have to accept that I'm right. You just have to accept that I'm actively going through something and that we can talk about it. Mm-hmm. And I feel like just the fact that you acknowledge that there's a problem at all is visibility.
Yeah. Well said.
I mean, if you think so, that means that.
Let me tell you something. Well, whenever I think about like being seen, my first thought is always the first Avatar movie.
Jake Sully.
I know.
Why you hear my connection to AY, Jake Sully? I hate that you're Tariq Mokhtar and I love you.
I know. You're weak.
Sorry to segue.
What a tangent. But you know what? Avatar 2 will do that to you. It'll make you go on a tangent. But no, I do always think about Avatar and how they're saying like, I see you. And I remember being in the theater and really like relating to that. And I know like as an empath and things like that, I always felt like I was seeing people beyond whatever was on the outside, like really seeing past that. But I didn't feel like I was being seen, not just as an empath, but also as somebody who has autism. You know what I mean? Like, it's often I don't feel seen. But it was so many times I was adjusting and studying other people for the things they needed. And I felt like I was seeing them because I'm better than everyone.
So, to all our fans of this podcast, what I need you to do, that moment right there, can we clip that and make out of context posts? Like, I don't care if it's on Instagram, YouTube. I just need like the Charlie Rocket, I'm better than everyone. And even if you want to clip me doing it, that's perfectly fine. But to stay on topic, I 100% get what you mean. There's something about a deeper connection and a deeper relationship to not just the world, but to a very specific person, your person.
Yeah.
It's like none other, because anything that you deal with in the regular world, no matter whether you're like, oh, I promise I'll never tell anybody, I promise this stays here. That means except for my other person. And everybody else in the world knows that. And we just accept it. You got to accept that when you tell your friend something like, hey, girl, I promise I ain't going to tell nobody, girl. If she got a boyfriend or a husband, she's laying in bed like, let me tell you what just happened. And that's fine. Like, it happens in healthy relationships.
One thing you brought up earlier is literal visibility.
Yes.
And like I don't often think about that when I'm talking about being seen and things like that, but like you do actually have to be active in somebody's life to know them.
Wait. Can you say that one more time for the people in the back? What do you have to do?
You actually have to be active in somebody's life to know them. Like you can't just be like, oh yeah, my girlfriend, but I don't like spending time with her, and I don't like the things that she likes, and I don't even want to try to do those things. You know what I mean?
Man, y'all came to a podcast. Did you realize this was a gospel of preaching going on? To be completely honest, she's right though. Like you can't really call somebody like your person and then you don't like their personality or the things that make them them, and you don't want to engage and deep dive into like.
If you just like the things you get from somebody, then you're using them.
You're attracted to them for sure. Like I'm not doubting your attraction. You think they're hot. And then, there's biological things. You might want to do other things with them.
Yeah.
Does that mean that you love them or care about them or respect their needs, wants, or wishes? No.
Yeah.
You should. Like in a perfect world, and luckily in my world, those two things are mutually exclusive.
Yeah.
But when you say visibility, even just, I know that there's a dynamic between men and women and that there's supposed to be like gender roles. But sometimes visibility is knowing that your partner doesn't even subscribe to like gender norms.
Yeah.
So like to just say, hey, I'm the man, so I do this and you're the woman, so you do that is already like, you don't know how much of them you've already cut off because you've never even talked to them about who they are or like where they fit into that. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And so for me, when you said that just now, it made me want to expound a little bit more. Visible is even so much as, can your person out loud say how they feel about themselves while including you? Because, people can identify as however for themselves, but can your person identify as how they feel when they identify with you? That's a big, that's like a big metric because, your relationship should be able to encompass who both of you are.
Yeah.
Both together and individually. Yeah, exactly.
So what do you think not receiving that visibility looks like?
So not receiving that visibility in the most generic terms is obviously not being seen. Like when someone looks at your relationship, if all of those things that encompass that relationship have nothing to do with your interests, your wishes, your wants, then I hate to tell you, you've been swallowed up by that other person. And we've all been there. I know we've all gotten into like a relationship or nowadays talking or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's just, you want to be with this person. So now you're into their world and it's all brand new because, we're all different people and opposites attract. And now all of a sudden, you're at like a drag race meet doing all kind of stuff. And you're like, order that car part, babe. You don't care about cars. So like it happens to the best of us. Hey. Just saying, we all end up
care about cars.
We all end up, masking for better or worse as, and that's a term that I learned through Charlie Rocket.
Yeah.
But like we all end up masking to some degree. But when you're wearing a mask 24/7 with your person, you aren't visible. You're not being seen. You're giving them what they want to see in some version of you that they want to see.
Yeah.
And, we already have to mask with the world to some degree, especially if you're Black. We all know about code switching and we all know about doing certain things, going along to get along.
Yeah, some things are for safety and other things are unnecessary.
Exactly. And in this case, in your relationship, if you have the mask for the world, you shouldn't have to come home and then the person next to you, you're putting on a front or you're like, I love the tour.
Right.
We always joke because there's this meme. Sorry, quick tangent, and I'll get back on point. Of Michael Jackson, and he's talking about how he goes through hell touring and how like he doesn't really like it. They're like, just say you like to tour. He's like, I'm a professional, cool, I'll do it. They turn the camera on and he's like, I love to tour. And everybody busts out laughing because like clearly he doesn't. Don't be that in your relationship.
Jackson loving to tour.
Yeah. You don't have to be like, I love to tour.
That's the quote.
Yeah, exactly. I love mud wrestling on the weekends for sure. I love to go karting.
Right,
But
exactly.
if you don't love it, that's okay. And because visibility is an agreement, you all don't have to necessarily agree on everything. It's mutual respect, but it's also mutual understanding and support. And so when I'm not feeling visible, I'm feeling unsupported, I'm feeling unseen. And then in the utmost situation of that, like to the tippity top of the worst of it, I'm feeling gaslit. And with gaslighting, I want to define that a little bit better because I know people will be like, oh, you're gaslighting me, you're gaslighting me. A disagreement is not gaslighting. Like if I say I want Chick-fil-A and you want Arby's, I didn't gaslight you, you didn't gaslight me. That's not what that means. If, on the other hand, I'm gonna give a scenario. You know, when you were a kid, and you're in the kitchen, there's some cookies or whatever. You're like, oh, look at all these cookies. No one will ever know that one is missing. Meanwhile, your mom made a dozen specifically. So when there's 11 cookies, it's very obvious that one is missing.
Right.
And they come up to you and they're like, hey, one of these cookies is missing. Did you eat that cookie? And you can tell the truth and be like, yeah, I ate that cookie. We're both in agreement that this cookie's missing. And I know it's in my stomach and I ate that cookie. But when I look at you and I say, now what makes you think that I would eat that cookie? You came to me, I'm offended. Like why is it even, you're gaslighting. So in your relationship, if you know that you're doing something to your partner or your partner's feeling something or they're going through something and you can visibly see it and understand it and you disregard it because it doesn't align with whatever your views are at the moment, and then you vocalize in a way to try and make them be like, no, like you're crazy, that's gaslighting. And to the utmost extreme of that, because I want to make it very relationship specific. If somebody saw you cheating, like actively, like they catch you with somebody and they're like, oh my God, you're cheating on me. And you're gone, it's over, the jig is up. And you're like, are you going to believe me or like your lying ass eyes or some shit like that?
I knew you were going to say
yeah, but like,
oh my God,
you're gaslighting. No, you're
that's wild
because it's over, and for whatever reason you don't want to cop to whatever. So I feel like gaslighting is the absolute worst thing that you can do to somebody else in another relationship, because it takes not only their visibility away, it takes their validity away, and in some situations, if you do it enough, it takes their power away. Because now they've been like, every single time that I voice something, I'm wrong. And then they solidify the thought in their head that what they think is synonymous with wrong. So then they don't even bring it to you. And I mean, I guess if you're a gaslighter, there you go, you broke somebody's spirit. But if you're in a functional relationship, visibility should be at an all-time high.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. And like, so how do you think we show each other that the other one is seen? Like, what do I do to make you feel seen?
Oh, this is so easy. She said she hated basketball. You heard that at the very beginning of this.
Basketball.
And she took me to an NBA game. The whole event is nothing but basketball at the highest level. And not only that, she said cross tween hezzy earlier. And she knows what it means to skip through that lane. If I say filet, she knows what's going on. I feel about as visible as the Statue of Liberty. Like, she does a really good job. And I'm being funny about this one situation, but it's not just basketball. I feel seen in a lot of ways. I moved here from Atlanta. And, there's just certain things that when I got here, we don't have family, we don't have people around. You automatically don't feel seen because you're kind of like washed out because you're like, this is new area, new scene, new everything. And from the get-go, she did everything in her power to let me retain what I could from there, but then also reassure me that I could be me and grow here and have things here. And sometimes visibility is somebody creating space for you to grow into somebody that you aren't even yet. So like I feel like, in growth hurts. Like if it's any significant amount of growth, you're gonna go through an awkward phase, whether it's growing your hair, or your body growing up, or just there's growing pains. That's why it's called that.
Oh yeah.
But to have somebody see you to the point that they allow you to have those growing pains and love you through them, that's a different kind of visibility. It's almost like the opposite of gaslighting. So I felt visible in the sense that I was able to restart my whole life over, restructure things, and live life in a manner that I had never been able to, but not necessarily under a microscope. And I was never gaslit. I was never made to believe something wasn't going to be something it wasn't. I was told the truth the whole time, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Because sometimes being visible and being honest with your person is telling them what it really is and not what's going to make them feel good. And and that forces growth. But throughout this whole process, I can say I felt visible because I was never lied to about what life was going to be like. I was always encouraged. I've never been put down for ideas or thoughts that I've had, even if they've been like conflicting to what sometimes would be for the betterment of the group. She would allow me to have my own feelings and have my own moments. And she also trusts. A part of visibility is trust. She trusted me a lot to come to the right decisions in time. And she gave me that time. Because, in the spur of the moment, you feel what you want to feel. And, me personally, I don't try to say crazy things. I'm never the person who's like, I want to hurt your feelings.
Right. Right.
So it's like, it's not that, but it's more so to give somebody, like to have somebody who will give you time to even just think things through, change and stuff. Because when people gaslight you, or sometimes even when they just want things to go their way, they'll put you on the spot, and then you'll agree to something on the spot that you don't really mean. And they'll be like, remember when you said, no, because last night you said, and I thought we were past this.
Oh, I hate that.
And it's like,
I got angry just thinking about
my bad. Trigger warning. I'm sorry. I should have said that.
I was like,
but to say in this relationship that I feel so visible and so seen that isn't my reality makes me feel good, because it isn't. Like in this relationship, almost everything's up for a conversation. Like it's just not set in stone. And even though some things feel like they want to be, because we both come from different backgrounds, and we both come from different things, and in our head, you want to be like, oh, this is my way, so it's forever, and this is how it should be. But when you really love somebody and you really like want to make them visible, you'll bend a little. You'll be like, there must be something to this, because this person sees something in it.
Yeah.
I am such a steadfast person with a lot of things. Like, if you want to try and peer pressure me, that's the quickest way to make sure it never happens. And she'll tell you, like, I'm not caving.
He's stubborn.
I'm not caving.
But that's part of the Aries thing. It's Aries season. You're being stubborn. You just
too fast to follow. This is why I lead.
Move.
But for her, not only and a part of visibility is respecting that person's experiences and everything else is equal to yours, and it adds up, and it matters, and the voices is equal. When I look at her and I see her and I talk to her, she is my equal, and in most parts my better. Like I know that. Like she'll have ideas. When I decide to bounce off the ideas that I have in my mind, it's because I know that she has good ones. It's very easy.
Yeah.
And so when she does the same for me, or she gives me that same respect, or like, and I get that back, reciprocation is visibility. Like when I get, how many relationships have we all been in where you give, and then the well runs dry, and they're like, how come you're not giving anymore? I'm like, because you took, you didn't give any back. In this relationship, I feel like we're really good at filling each other's cup, so to speak,
Yeah.
And so for me, that's kind of what visibility is. It's more so just like acknowledging that person's viewpoint is real, filling their cup, and even if you disagree, acknowledge that like their experiences are real. and that like you can work to something else.
Let me tell you, the struggle will tell you so many things about people.
oh yeah, it's not when we're up. Oh yeah.
No,
let me tell you
something.
something.
Tell
yeah, you're right.
So many things, but just like you said, like going through changes, also is another thing that will just show you so much about somebody if somebody really sees you or not. Clearly, I've talked about so many changes that I've gone through in the last couple years, so many discoveries, self discoveries, things like that. Like my autism diagnosis, like my bisexuality and coming out about that, and just kind of discovering that, and just so many things that took place within this relationship that I then brought to him and was looking for that confirmation from him and receiving space every time. You know what I mean? Space for discovery and space for me to discover more about myself, but also with the support of my partner. You know, there was never a time where he would say, "Well, I don't like that." Like I don't even know what he would say. Like it doesn't. I don't even.
It does not compute.
I can't even picture what you would say. I would have to picture somebody else, which would be like people who have brushed me off in the past. Like I say something to you and you brush me off, then it's not a topic I'm going to continue. And with autism, we create these patterns in our head, and especially with social cues, because we're constantly trying to learn them because we're not grasping them, you know? So we're creating rules in our head to follow along with this play that we're in to keep up with society. And what the rule says is if somebody brushes you off, that means they're not interested. That's what my rules say.
Shit, that's a fairly good rule.
That's what, yeah, you brush me off. Oh, okay. You don't want to talk about this, or you don't like this, or something about this is not vibing with you, so you didn't continue. Fine. I'll never bring it up again.
Say goodbye to my opinion.
Or, you know, a lot of people, especially like, let me discuss bisexuality very specifically. So many people brush that off for women because they're just like, all women like women. I don't know. Like, it's like if it's not an actual thing, it's not a real thing. Like, all girls have kissed girls and whatever else. And sexuality for women and like being close with our friends are two different things. You know what I mean? There's a lot of things that women do with their friends and whatever else that create closeness and a bond that have not anything to do with sexuality. And so those are two very separate things. And me trying to navigate through that took me until like now. So
no, it makes sense.
That's
you know
how
what?
difficult
to be
that
honest,
is.
In this exact moment when she said they were two different things, I was like, that's why Katy Perry was like, I kissed a girl and I liked it. Because the first half didn't mean anything.
Yeah, so, like, but also I liked it though.
And everybody else was like, get the fuck out of here. What you
really?
so sorry. I just, when you said that make so much more sense to me.
And as somebody who also never had that kind of bond with my friends anyway, I didn't have any of those things, but a lot of girls were touching my butt a lot. And I was just like, friend. Friends. Like that's
and all I have to say to that is nice.
Right. But so it took me this long to kind of navigate through that, because also the patterns have told me that these things equal all ladies, you know? And every time I'm trying to discuss this with somebody, it was that kind of answer, especially since probably not smart to talk to men about it. But also but here's the thing. The men I was talking to in my previous relationships, guys, they always jump to threesomes. And then you're like, this became something that wasn't about my self exploration. It became, how can I exploit your self exploration? It's horrible. Stop being creepy, dudes. Stop being creepy.
Way to make you invisible.
It's always either that or they're like, don't all girls do that? And then you're like, I guess. I don't know.
Damn, it's like one of the puzzles where it all goes back to, well, thanks to making me invisible. Back to
square one. I'm glad that this part of my life can be stuffed down into a box where it's nice and safe. But bringing those things to you was a completely different story and something that I've never had in previous relationships. Like, I can tell you nearly anything about myself and expect you to be like, oh, okay. Like okay, interesting. Another part of you that, hey, I'm here while you figure that out. Yeah, and if you need anything, here I am.
I'm going to tell you something.
Whatever.
I knew that this relationship was a relationship for me in the fact that I was married before and I ended up getting a divorce. And, when you have a situation like that, you feel some way about yourself. Like, no matter what the world tries to tell you, you're just like, like, this is supposed to be forever. Like, I'm damaged goods. There must be something wrong with me.
Yeah.
Kind of situation. So then you find somebody, you feel better about yourself. You guys get closer, you open up. And I remember one day, and the first time we talked about this, we were actually walking in the park because we used to go on walks like all the time. We still do. We still do all kind of things. But it's just so funny. I remember this day, she was telling me that she was talking to her therapist. And outside of talking about autism and things like that, she was like, we kind of got into my sexuality a little bit. And she's like, I wanted to talk to you about something. And I figured, could we talk about it on this walk? And I was like, yeah, for sure. Like, anything that's going on with you, I would like to know it. And she was really hesitant. And, after hearing like how other people in her past took it, I get it, and tried to like run with it and do whatever. She brought up to me that, that there's something there with girls, is what she said at the time.
I'm mad you remember so much more about this than me. I remember nothing. I had the scenery wrong.
To be fair,
a lot of times you'll be like, you were wearing this, and it was like whatever, and I'll be like, oh no, yeah.
You know what? We were at the first park that we used to go to by your parents' house. It was autumn time because there was leaves and stuff on the ground and whatnot. Because this was important. Like, this was a thing because you hadn't talked to me. Because we both had our own therapist. We were going to therapy separate at the time, and you would tell me you would go to therapy. And you would kind of tell me what you were talking about. But this is one of the first times in our relationship where you really opened up to me and was telling me what you really talked about in therapy. So it's kind of locked in my brain, especially too, because even when you were telling me this, I was very supportive, but I had a little bit of a fear response in my mind because I was like, oh no, like if she's bisexual, like, of course I can be all the man she needs, but I can be none of the woman she needs. But at the same time, I did not let me get into this because guess what? Her telling me this wasn't her saying, now I want to break up with you, or now I.
Well, also like I want to take a beat and also recognize that his reaction and feelings to what I said are also valid. Like he's allowed to have a reason that's real about our relationship.
Yeah.
And by his understanding of where, like,
And to be honest, the only reason why I did it is because you communicate. Like, even in the moment when you were telling me and how she presented it to me, she presented it to me in a way where I wasn't threatened. Like, she made it very clear that our relationship was the utmost important thing to her, and that she was just learning things about herself. And then I had a chance as her partner to give her a chance to learn more about herself, completely independent from me. And I remember telling her one of the first things I said was, look, this has nothing to do with me. Like, figure out anything about yourself you need to figure out, because I don't want us to be like 80 years old on your deathbed and you're like, oh, I had all these repressed things, and then it turns to some like
you did say all of these things. I remember you saying all of this.
Because I don't want to be the reason why somebody didn't get to live in their truth when I would have loved you through it anyway. And that's what I said. And in that moment, I told her, I said, hey, whoever you need to be, I love you. You're my soulmate. I'm going to love you through it. And this has nothing to do with me. It's not about my personal gain. It's about your actual journey. And throughout this process, I've really tried to keep it that way. And I know that was years ago at this point. And I know that, you've been able to just kind of figure out what bisexuality even means to you.
Yeah.
I remember us going to the store and like they had a champagne bottle that had like the pride flag or like the bi flag. I can't remember at this point.
No.
And at first you were like, flag. I feel like I shouldn't be able to get it. And I was just like, why? You are. I was like, let's just get it and bring on me. Like, you don't think that, like, she asked me, she was like, do you think this is weird? Do you feel weird? Because she checked in with me. I appreciate that, like, even in her excitement, she was like, do you feel okay? Do you still feel valid? Do you still feel seen a bit? I was like, yeah. I was like, you finding out about you doesn't take away from us or from me. And I was like, if it ever feels that way, just, talk to me and let me know. And the more that those kind of things happen, the visibility goes up. And I feel like you get more free reign, so to speak. It's like, it's very easy to let somebody wander and explore and figure out things about themselves when you know that the things they're not going to explore are going to hurt you or be malicious or or you're involved. And for you guys out there, when I say involved, that doesn't mean you're not guaranteed anything in this life. Anything. You can work a job today and get fired tomorrow. So I don't know how you think that somebody else's sexuality guarantees you to like keys to some imaginary kingdom that you made up in your mind. It's not about that.
It's not about you.
It shouldn't be about your gain. Like, you shouldn't be trying to gain off of this. Ironically, on the other hand,
but also
you might just prosper if and only if your heart's in it for the right reasons.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. And so, like, my thing is being a good person and being able to give your person the space to even allow themselves to be visible. Because at this point, where we're at with our ages and just like having been through multiple relationships and being grown-ups, we've been made to feel so invisible in so many different kinds of relationships that visibility is scary.
Yeah.
Like, why would I want to be seen? Anytime I showed myself, it ended in heartache and it ended in pain and it ended in misery. So when somebody's showing you who they are, allow them for real, because it might be rare. Like, it might be something that they don't do, and it might be your one chance. You never know. This shit might be like Haley's Comet. It might be like, oh, that shit's gone. I probably should have took.
Never again.
Yeah, because can you imagine if we took that walk that day and she bared her soul to me, and I was like, nice. So we're fucking women right now.
Line them up. I already have a list. Here they are. I'm saying it like this because this is a true story.
Oh, damn. Not with me.
These are things
Disclaimer.
Really? Yeah. Great. Guess who's on the list already?
I've always wanted to fuck your friend.
What?
Like, what? You're like, hallelujah. Let's make. No. But to be completely honest and just to really say that I've been able to come up to her with similar things. Like, with my mental health, I struggle sometimes. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I'm gonna just be honest. I'm gonna talk to you, and it's just you and me.
Hey there.
I have good days.
Just
exactly.
us.
Look, let's get close. Let's get intimate.
Hey.
And while we're here and being intimate, I struggle. I have problems. I have what I call bad brain days. And, I've actually tried to go on medication before. It didn't quite work out for me. But, different things for different people. And I'm not opposed to it. Like, I might have to try it again another time. But I've been doing therapy. I've been doing self-healing, just working on myself. Because I have low moments. I wake up some mornings and just the world's gray. I can't do anything about it. And it's not because anybody did anything to me. It's not like I don't have love and support. Chemical imbalance. It is what it is. But to have somebody that will love you through those moments and support you and see you and they know you so well that they know that that's not you and will love you and just keep you through those moments. If you have that, honestly.
It's almost like, oh my gosh, I just thought about it.
Oh, let me hear it.
Wow, it's an aha moment.
Look, light bulb.
Oh, you know what I was about to do?
What?
Take it all the way back. I was about to be like, just kidding. It's not that big a deal.
Oh, God.
Okay. It's like a relationship first aid kit. You know what I mean?
Ah, it is.
Like, I feel like everybody's is different and has different stuff in it, but like, you know, that person's things. Like in your first aid kit, like I know that we have certain terminology we use, just like you said, bad brain day, things like that. If you just tell me you're having a bad brain day,
you already know.
I pull out the first aid kit.
Yeah,
exactly. And I know what things that you're going to need. And you're probably going to need your space and alone time. You're going to want the bed to be made. You don't want to be in the bed. I turn the lights off, but I turn on the space lights so there's like stars and stuff. I have the things. You know what I mean?
She is 100% right. Like, it's so wild. And at this point, I know when she's overstimulated. And then like it's just like my first aid kit is I start taking the stimulus away. I'm like, is the TV too loud? Is there music on? Are the kids asking you 16 billion questions? Sometimes I'm the stimulus too. Sometimes I'll be like, hey, I'm going to take me and the kids out of here and you play Animal Crossing.
Yes.
Because not for nothing, like I know me. Like some moments I'm chill, but there's a lot of times when I'm not. Like I'm the multitask king. I'll be playing guitar, listening to a whole different song, watching the show, and then asking her a question and poor her because she's just having to deal with all of it. And luckily now I can realize when I'm kind of doing those things. And so I try to pull back. Yeah. And my first aid kit is just sort of like assessing the situation and moving forward. And she does the exact same thing. Like that's such a good analogy because that's exactly
like in case of emergency, pull this. You have like in case of anxiety, in case of
so like, you know, I'll bring you your the things you shake, like the little slugs.
Oh, my slugs.
I'll bring you Animal Crossing. Mm-hmm. I bring you food or like a dark soda.
Yes.
Or like,
you know, also, all of my tummy problems.
Oh, to be completely honest, can I say one more thing about visibility? Visibility isn't just about knowing the things that are going on, but about prepping for the things you know will happen in the future.
Yeah. You want to really anticipate somebody's needs sometimes. I think that like women over generations and generations have been taught how to anticipate the needs of a man. You know what I mean? And so because of that, you know, because of oppression, y'all know it's because of oppression. Anticipating the needs of a man so he doesn't have to do anything in regards to in the household and things like that. Or with the kids or blah, 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 blah. So we are used to anticipating the needs of a man fairly accurately in terms of old school gender roles. I get exactly what you mean. Men a lot of times aren't taught that. It's not like a requirement. Sometimes you're taught that just by how you were raised or something like that. But it's not really a requirement that society has for you. So a lot of men will think women are nagging or women are asking for things that don't make sense. And like, oh, all of my needs make sense. That's why you know to get them for me. Like if it's a societal norm, even though we're just taught to anticipate the needs of a man. A man is going to be tired after work. You take the slippers out, you pull the chair out, make sure the kids are quiet, you have the dinner ready. These are old school traditional gender norms or whatever that they tried to drill into women for generations. For so long. So we at least know that somewhere in the back of our head, even though I try my best to go against it.
You know what's so funny?
But I say all that just to say that, like, because of that, a lot of times men are not anticipating the needs of women. But also, that's just like something people should attempt to do for somebody who you love. Because when you are anticipating their needs, you're taking that off of them. They don't have to like search inside of them about their like feelings and go through this long journey and then express it to you and get up the nerve to express it to you and have to ask you for help in this moment. Sometimes you can take that off of them. Sometimes you don't have to make them beg for the attention or the things that they need in their most vulnerable moments.
Not for nothing, yeah. Like even when we first started talking and like doing cons and doing everything else, one of the first things I learned about you is that you like your sodas room temp, and that when you go on like a road trip, like Hawaiian sweet rolls or something like that. And I remember I get
car sick.
Yeah, I came to pick you up and we were doing the things. And I remember you weren't feeling good and you were like, oh, we're probably gonna have to stop soon because like I need a dark soda, I need whatever. And I was like, oh, I already bought that stuff. Like it's in the back. I just meant to give it to you. And you were like, what? I was like, yeah, you told me on the phone that these are the things you need. So why would I not have them?
Yeah, let me tell you to the extent. There were times I mentioned to JJ that, I have to take a lot of my cosplay pictures myself because people aren't getting the angles that I want, and like they're not listening to me when I'm telling them how I want it. You know how people get really annoyed when you're directing them on how to take your picture, but you're a professional and you want your pictures done a certain way because it's your art and you love it. Anyways, so I was getting really annoyed of people getting annoyed of me asking them to take a picture, especially when those people were people like in a relationship with me for years. You know what I mean? So I was just taking my own photos. I mentioned this to him and he starts to practice taking pictures around his job and sending them to me and asking me my advice on how he can improve. Not just asking me what I think about it, asking how he can improve, like photography skills, taking pictures of coworkers, like, hey, can I take a picture of you? Like in the hallway, like his friends. Like,
I have zero social anxiety.
What do you think
about
this?
So it's super easy for me to be like, hey, my girlfriend's a photographer and I'm trying to get better at photography. And so can I take a picture of you to just figure out what I'm supposed to be doing?
Right. But even beyond that, he was doing research about photography. He was looking on my page to see how I like things to be taken. Like it wasn't just like random out and well, this is a good enough picture, right? Well, whatever. No, he like really made an effort to do this thing for me. And I didn't ask for it or anything, but I felt so seen in that moment because you heard I had an issue and you took it upon yourself to try and assist me. Like women so often don't get assistance from men. We get told a fix and then we're like, that doesn't even apply to me. They're like, well, it fixes it. Slap some tape on. Like, you know what I mean? Or like it gets dismissed. It's not very often that you feel like you're assisted by a man and that they're actually taking your issue seriously to the point where they want to know how you want it to be fixed, not how to just fix it, how you want it to be fixed.
There is a big difference because even in that moment, I realized you were telling me that people were taking pictures for you and some of them were photographers. So that doesn't mean that it's a professional kind of issue and that they're not taking high quality pictures. They're just not taking pictures you want to be taking.
It's just not my eye.
So then I'm like, why not go to the source? Also, at that point, I wasn't taking pictures like that. So I had to kind of get my feet wet and just learn what it was like to be a photographer.
Yeah.
And then after I got that part down, I said, okay, show me how you want it. Because if you're the subject, then like, and now I've been taking pictures for you for years.
Oh, yeah. And now you a lot of times take better pictures of me than I take.
I wouldn't say that.
Because you can get better angles than I can get, but you know what I like out of that. So it's like opening up.
But it's so funny how you teaching me how to take pictures. Anytime I take pictures for people, like our friends and things like that, they're like, oh my God, that's like my favorite picture of me.
Yeah, because
I just took the time on it.
You're killing it. But like also, I just want to say like, oh man, I think I lost it. Oh,
that happens to the best of us. Don't even feel bad. It's okay. Look,
no, it hurt.
I took the idea out of your head, like on Harry Potter, when they put it into the.
I feel like it's like an etch a sketch. It's like no. There it goes.
It might go out the way.
Fading,
it's gone.
It's fading.
But I will say one other thing about visibility and just like
that's what it was. Real quick, I'm going to say it. Okay. It made me feel respected as a professional that a man was respecting my craft enough to come to me to ask me if it was right.
Yeah, I didn't like circumvent you.
Because even if a man will research and do all these things to try and impress you, a lot of times he won't ask you for help as a woman. And a lot of times it feels so degrading the way men talk to us as a professional. Like, even if they have nothing to do with the craft you're doing, they feel like they can still be better than you. And so I immediately appreciated that you came to me.
Oh yeah, I mean, it hit immediately. Like, I saw your pictures and I saw the pictures I was taking. I said, damn, I got to take better pictures. You're a better photographer than me. So then why would not, like, for me?
Let me tell you how many DMs I have probably right now telling me how I can make my business better, how I can, oh, well, this picture would have been better if this, how come you don't post this, blah, blah, blah. And it's all men. It's all men just telling me how come your OnlyFans is this? You do better if you blah, blah, blah. Because I don't do that content. What?
It is what it is.
It's more than being good at
How about being grateful?
I'm just being me.
I didn't have to do any of this.
Shut up. How about that?
Simple as that. Hey, you know what? And on that bombshell, I do want to say a few last things about visibility. And then I think we're ready to seal it.
I don't think I even have a question today. Let me see if I can find one.
Okay, go for it. So for me, invisibility, I think it's beyond important in every relationship for both people to feel that. Because, I mean, as much as you want it, so does your other person. And as much as you need it, so does your other person.
Yeah, facts.
Like, can you imagine, like, really take a moment and take a walk with me that you're in a relationship, that you're a perfect person, everything's going good, you guys are in love, you're happy. But at the drop of a hat, anytime you have an issue, there's no issue. It doesn't exist. And you can't even be made to believe that it ever existed. Every single one of them. That's what a lot of people deal with every single day. And it's not only because of how people treat them. It's just kind of like society as a whole. Like, we get to the point where it's like, they tell you, look out for number one. There's only room for one at the top of the mountain. Have y'all ever been to the top of a fucking mountain? It's huge. There's so much room for everybody. There's only room for one at the top.
And it's me.
That's cap. Literally, think about the word relationship in relation to someone else. Like, that takes more than two people. You can have a relationship with yourself for sure. But
yeah,
when dealing with other people, make sure that you give them a chance to be seen. Make sure you give them a chance to be visible. Make sure their voice is being heard. Their opinions are being heard, validated, and respected. It's really not that hard. Yeah. Whatever you want and expect out of a relationship, give it. And that's like my final thought on it.
It's the golden rule.
Exactly. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you.
Aww. Thanks, Barney. Not the new Barney, the old Barney.
Yeah, I don't even know what new Barney's on, so I can't even co-sign it. But OGG Barney?
Something. Anywho, I have one question for us that I could find, and it was, what are our individual favorite cosplays that we do? What's yours? What's your favorite costume? That's a really hard question.
Because when you say favorite, like fan favorite, that I know that, like, as soon as I put it on,
my fan favorite a lot of times is Storm.
Fair enough. I feel like my fan favorite, like the one that gets the people going, is either Bruno from Encanto. Because then people just gather around me and they start singing. Yeah, like people will literally start singing. They're like, 7-foot frame rats. I'm like, I gotta go to the bathroom.
Let me tell you, I feel like you get that kind of response with a lot of.
But also costumes. Woody.
It's mostly your Disney ones, yeah.
Man,
the Disney ones really get the party started.
But honestly, I think my two. They said favorite, so
what
I'm gonna have to narrow it down.
I know it's hard because I also have one for nostalgia, and then I guess just like an overall one. I don't know.
I guess I got to go where it all started with the Tachi, because when all else fails, I'm throwing on that Itachi.
Is that the nostalgia?
That is.
Because for me, it's Catwoman.
Yeah, for me, it's Spider-Man, honestly. Like, because Spider-Man was my first cosplay that I had that was like a professional, real deal.
Yeah.
Like, I got it, and then I went to BlurredCon, and I was on my first panel, and I had my first professional cosplay suit. Like, let me tell you something.
My baby don't grow up.
Ooh, that changed the game. That was when I went from an amateur to a professional.
Yeah.
So it's the tie between Itachi and Spider-Man. Those two, it's just
nostalgia.
Yeah. But fan favorite, Woody, I gotta say the lines. Frozone, I gotta say the lines. And Bruno, I mean, I don't know what else to say. People literally come up to me and they just start singing. They feel happy.
Yeah.
I love it.
They're like, there's a snake in my boots.
You're my favorite deputy. Someone's poisoned the water hole. Like, yeah,
you bring all the lines.
Yeah.
What does Bo Peep say? I just follow you. And people go, who's that? Is that little Bo Peep? What's she got to do with anything?
And they're like, hey, Bo Peep.
You don't remember her?
They're like, hey, Bo Peep, where's your sheep? And you're like, shut the fuck up.
I know. They're just picking things apart. Look, mind your business.
Somebody handed me their baby. They said, hey, will you hold my baby? I said, yeah, I will. I shouldn't, but I will.
Here, hold my baby and take this picture. They love Woody. I was like, they're not even one.
That kid's going to grow up and be like, what the fuck was this? Who did you hand me to? Or I'll be so famous. I'll be so famous that they'll be like, holy shit, I can't believe the rise of J. Jones.
Help
me as a baby.
Hey, that happened to my cousin with Obama.
You know what?
He was the baby, though. He was the baby.
Wait, Obama was the baby?
My cousin.
Can you imagine your cousin holding baby Obama? Like, yeah, you'll be the president.
I'm done. Anywho.
I mean, crazy is vice versa.
But my all-time favorite. That's too hard. I have too many.
You have way too many.
That's dumb. No, I'm just kidding.
You heard it here first. Your question, dumb, idiotic, for the trash. Poo. I'm just kidding.
Let me tell you something. I can never do favorites. Other than my favorite color and number.
Which is yellow and 8. Because she's visible to me and I pay attention.
I can't do favorites. I typically do top 10.
And it's not 10.
If it's in a category that has
because she does honorable mentions.
I do. Scene. Visibility. Anywho, that concludes this episode of Dirty Closet Pals. Thank you all for stopping by. Look at me making up a song.
Dirty Closet Pals. Even if your closet's dirty,